Hey, come here, check this out. So last Saturday I put out this lesson where I taught you how to play a little chunk of the pentatonic scale. And I told you that this lesson would be about how to take that and play it over different chord shapes that would allow it to sound different. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some different chord shapes, and I'll map these all out for you in my PDF that I put over at justpickuptheguitarandgo.com. I'll show you the different chord shapes, and I'll show you that pretty much you're playing the same scale, but it's going to sound different. It's going to sound more modal when you play over different chords. And the cool thing is you could take these chords, you could build a song out of them, but you know, whatever your root chord is, whatever that, you know, tonic is, or that tonal center is that you're kind of coming back to every time, that your ear is coming back to every time, that's going to be the sound of the mode. Now, if you started with, for instance, I'm going to pick an oddball one real quick. I'm going to pick this D minor. Or we could even play a D7. And I'm going to play that pentatonic progression with you, just with that D7. So that's going to sound more Aeolian. Not quite, but it's going to give you more of a minor sound to it. It'll sound a little more melancholy, a little more sad, because of the fact that it's got that minor tonality in it. But I'm still playing the same notes. Now here's where it gets tricky. What if I play more of a major sound? So what if I use, for instance, Ionian? In this case, it's F major, but I'm going to use a major 7 chord here. Now it's going to sound major. I'm going to play the same notes. So you hear how it sounds more major now? That major sounding tonality is coming from the fact that I've built a foundation of the chord. The chord is my foundation, and the notes are not going to sound major and happy, right? Happy little guitar. So we're going to take a look at that shape one more time, and then I'm going to show you 5 different chords we can use. And again, you can make any of these chords that tonal center. And then you can play this shape over those chords, and you got 5 different songs, right? And of course, you can rearrange the chord shapes and rearrange or play, you know, variations of the chords and rearrange the order that they're in, and then of course you can come up with all kinds of stuff. So look at the notes. You've got a G. Now of course this is technically the second shape of the F major scale. So the F major scale is here. And it's playing the same notes that are in the second position as well. So basically we're playing F, G, and then we're going to play A, C, and then we're going to play D, and then F, and then that's basically it. We're back to F now. So we're basically playing the same thing. So when I look at the second position, I just look at those 3 little boxes, or those 3 little patterns, or it's a 6-note sequence, right? I'm going to play G, A, C, D, E, and then back to F, because that's my octave, and that's it. So everywhere we're playing those same notes, right? All those notes are going to be the same. So even when we get down here, that's going to be your G, A, C, D, F, E, and even here, which is where it starts over, that's your true octave, right? It's going to be G, A, C, D, F, E. So that's it. And we could think about that like being the notes, okay? It's going to be a G, which is going to be a minor, and we can play a minor 7. And I'll map that out for you in the PDF. But that minor 7 chord can be played with those same notes. Now, if I wanted to start on the G and kind of make it sound more like I'm coming back to the tonic, then that's what I could do. Probably the easiest one, because that's the one where my index finger lands on the tonic. And then, of course, it's going to give you that Dorian sound, okay, because it's kind of in the Dorian mode. Again, pentatonic, it's kind of, you know, it can kind of fit over a major or a minor because it's only 5 notes, but that would be the Dorian mode if I was playing the entire 7-note scale. Then we're going to move down to the next one, which is A. In this case, A is going to be here. We're going to play a minor A. In this case, we could play something like maybe a minor 7. Again, I'll map that out. And we're going to go ahead and play that same shape. I'll start on the A. Right, coming back to that. Hear how it sounds darker now? More Phrygian. More bluesy too. Kind of more Phrygian, but more bluesy. That kind of reminds me of that Eric Clapton tone that he put in the Lethal Weapon movies. And then you got that. And then we come to the next one. That was G, that was A. Kind of keep following that pattern. So we got a major, then a minor. We're going to have a major again. This one's going to be a C major. We could do a C major 7. And then, of course, it's going to follow that same pattern. I'll start with the C. Kind of happier, kind of more uplifting, but not quite as happy as Ionian, because it's Mixolydian. And Mixolydian tends to be in that blues family. There's a lot of Mixolydian blues players out there. So it's not quite 100% major, but it's more major than, for instance, your Dorian and your Phrygian. And then we can go to the true minor, which would be your Aeolian shape, which would be a D shape here. This one will be on the 5th string of the 5th fret. So your D we can use, like we talked about at the beginning, we could use a D7. Start with that D. It's got a kind of a dreamy feel, but it still sounds kind of dark because it's in that Aeolian territory. And then we would get back to the original sound, which would be the first shape, which we didn't really talk about. We did at the beginning, but we didn't really talk about when I fleshed this out last Saturday, because I said this was going to start on the 2nd position of the pentatonic. So it would be your root note if we were playing a major sound. It's that last note. That one right there. Because the last note of the 6 notes is your octave of your G, but we're going to be playing on the F. So we're playing on the F, and we can use that F7, F major 7, right? And then as we're playing that, we're going to go ahead and play that last note. And that gives us that major sound. Right? We could even play just a traditional F major chord. And it's going to sound like it's going to resolve a little bit better because it's, you know, got that major sound. So if you play with an F major or an F major 7, and there's all kinds of variations of these chords, right? If you play with a G minor 7 chord, then you play with an A minor 7 chord. All those pretty chords, they sound so nice. I don't play this kind of stuff usually. I play metal, but some pretty stuff in there. And then if you move over to that C major 7 chord, and then you wind up in the D minor 7. So no matter where you start, where you end, and you just play. Do you hear how now it sounds like it's supposed to be going back to that chord instead of that major 7? Like it resolves back to the one that we're kind of focused on, and we're not changing the notes. We're just playing the notes the way we want to play them, but we're playing chords underneath them that are changing the modes, changing the sound, changing how it feels to our ear. That's what modal language is. It's kind of like you're walking, right? And however you walk, whatever your gait is, however you dance or move, you're doing that in a certain spot. If I pick you up, move you over here, and you're doing it in a different spot, you're playing the same thing. You're walking the same way, you're dancing the same way, but now you're in a different spot. But you're doing the same thing. So it might create a different mood not because of what you're doing, not because of the way that you've changed your movement or the way that you've changed how you're playing, but just because of where you're at. Because now we're playing over different chords. So you're changing how you're playing, not so much, you're changing the chords that you're playing over. Now, of course, the mood of the music, the beat of the music, the way it sounds, the different structure, the time signature, all that stuff is going to play into how you play as well. Like you can't play, you know, super fast, shreddy licks, you know, if the song calls for something like that. But you could still play shred licks with that kind of stuff. Or you could take things that you think of as this can only be used for shred licks, and you could slow it down and play it more bluesy or more melodic. And then of course there's the whole style of melodic shred, right? Where you take the scales and you understand them well enough to play them musically and not just make a lot of noise with them. And then you play a more shreddy, but you're playing more melodic. So all that's in there. So like I said again, I'll tab all this out. I'll tab out that original shape again for you. You'll find that in the membership section. And I'll tab out the chords, or I'll put chord charts in there for you. These different chords, because these voicings are a little bit different from what I usually play. And you might be like, oh, that one sounds really good. And 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 I want to play all those chords. And if you do, then again, easy peasy, sign up at justpickuptheguitarandgo.com, get the free 7-day course, and then all this will be tabbed out for you in the membership section, which doesn't require you to do anything else. There's just a direct link to it, and you just click on that and go straight to it. And you get, anytime I put out a new lesson, one of my bigger lessons, my Saturday lessons, you'll get tabs for that, and you can see exactly what I'm doing. And if I think of anything as I'm tabbing this out, I'll put that in there as well. So if I leave anything out of the lesson, then of course it'll be in the tabs. So check that out. And also 2025 is almost up. 2026 is almost here. Did you have guitar goals for this year? Did you meet them? If not, do you have guitar goals for next year? And what are they? I'd love to know. My guitar goals are always ongoing. I'm currently working through Kevin Dillard's books. He's got one called IntelliShred, and he's got one called Arpeggio Madness. I encourage you to check those out. I think you can get them on Amazon.com, and I'm not selling them. I'm not affiliated with him in that way, but he's a great guitar teacher. In my shorts, a lot of times when he puts out a new lesson on YouTube, I will, link to it and let you know that he's got a new lesson out. So be sure to check him out. He's over at James Dillard on YouTube. But if you type in Kevin Dillard guitar teacher or James Dillard guitar teacher, you should see him. But he's got those books out, IntelliShred and Arpeggio Madness. And that's been my goal ever since I got those books. And I actually go see him from time to time as a guitar teacher because he's been helping me with a lot of different things that I want to work on as well. I never profess to be the best guitar player in the world, but I know there are people out there who can benefit from the way that I understand the fretboard. So that's the reason I like to break things down and show you how I understand it. And if other teachers can help you understand it better, that is awesome. I don't want to hog the stage. There's plenty of people out there who you can learn from, and there's plenty of students to go around. So I want to make sure that everybody gets what they need. My way is a little unique, and that's why I want you to check out that free 7-day course. You can always unsubscribe, but if you like it, stick around, stay in the email list, and I will send you emails whenever I put things out, and you'll stay up to date on what I'm doing. So what are your goals? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.